So by now, you're probably thoroughly sick and tired of the phrase quiet resignation. We've heard it for the last few years. Everybody keeps talking about it, keeps writing about it. And I think it's still important to learn from that. If you've got some quiet resignation going on in your organization where employees are just doing the bare minimum in order to balance their lives better, in order to balance their priorities perhaps better, then that's a really important conversation you need to have in your workplace with your leadership team, with your employees. I think there are good types of quiet resignation that is happening where it needs to happen because it's sending an incredibly powerful message in our organizations that we need to hear and have some really honest conversations around. Of course, there's also, not good examples of quiet resignation. I'm talking about those employees who show up, at work, but not necessarily to work. That's a whole different issue. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about poor performers when we talk about learning from quiet resignation. We're talking about your good performers, your good employees that have become disengaged, that have become perhaps disillusioned and demotivated in their jobs. You need to be on the lookout for those employees, and you need to learn some valuable lessons and have some great conversations around that. What I want to talk about in this video, though, is kind of the opposite of that. While we need to keep learning from quiet resignations that may be happening in our organizations, let's also remember the power of focusing on quiet excellence in our organizations. And by quiet excellence, I'm talking about making sure that we appreciate, recognize, and value those employees that are often overlooked, the underdogs, the behind-the-scenes cast of characters that don't always get the accolades or the public attention that some of our other employees get. The people who just make our businesses rock in a quiet way, and sometimes so quietly that we forget they're even there. There's so many employees that fall into that category. Not too many people, for example, phone up IT departments and organizations and say, hey, I just want to phone up and I just wanted to thank you because everything's just been working great. Like for months, I haven't had any tech issues, so thank you. They don't tend to get those kind of calls. They get the opposite. Of course, they only hear from people when things screw up, when there's a problem. So let's not forget to appreciate and recognize and celebrate our quiet heroes at work, the quiet underdogs. And also, let's appreciate those employees who just quietly do go about their job day in and day out, and who step up as needed without being asked. The people who, when they see something that needs doing, they just friggin' do it because it needs doing. And they don't do it for the public recognition. They don't do it for the accolades. They just do it because they see that it needs doing, and so they're going to do it. Those quiet employees that go about their work without complaining, even in the face of a crisis or stressful period in your jobs. Those people that just show up consistently and go the extra inch or sometimes the extra mile to rock it in their jobs without any expectation of anything in return. So let's talk more about this aspect in our jobs of quiet excellence. What does that look like? Are we recognizing people? Are we appreciating people and celebrating people for quiet excellence in their roles? And what do you think? Does this make sense to you? Is this something that we need to turn our lens towards more often? Please leave a comment or a question in the comment box below. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to my Inspiring Workplaces channel, here's an idea. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification button so you get notified when new videos are uploaded, and so that we can stay in touch. And if you want some ideas and inspiration beyond the videos on my YouTube channel here, please, I'd invite you to cruise on over to my website, www.mikekerr.com. Gets you there at the bottom of the homepage. I'd invite you to sign up for my weekly Inspiring Workplaces newsletter, where I talk about creating Well, just that, Inspiring Workplaces That Rock, where I talk about what we need to do to create less soul-sucking, fun-sucking workplaces and more workplaces that truly rock. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you will get the complimentary ebook, 401 Ways to Create a More Awesome, Rocking, and yes, Fun Workplace Culture.